It began with a sound, small, metallic, out of place. At first, Caleb thought it was only the wind rattling something outside. His apartment was old, and the winter storms had a habit of banging loose gutters or scraping tree branches against the siding. But the sound he heard tonight wasn't outside. He knew because it had come from the hallway, from inside his locked apartment. A sharp tink, then a pause, so still it made his breath feel loud. Then another tink, tink. Caleb muted the documentary playing on his laptop and sat upright. His heart made a quick, instinctive leap, the kind of jolt that comes before the brain forms a complete thought. His eyes drifted to the clock glowing across the room. 12:10 a.m. He lived alone. No pets, no visitors, no reason for anything to make noise out there. Yet something was. He waited another few seconds, holding still, listening the way one listens when the dark feels too aware. No sound came, at first. Then a faint shuffle, fabric brushing against something. Caleb stood. He told himself it was nothing. A falling coat hanger, a draft from the back window, something ordinary, something explainable. But his body didn't believe that, not with the way the hairs along his arms rose the moment he stepped onto the cold wooden floor. He inched toward the hallway, moving slowly to keep the boards from creaking. The apartment wasn't large, just a narrow living room that opened into a tighter hallway, bathroom on the left, closet on the right, and his bedroom at the end. There were few places for a sound to hide, fewer still for something to make it. When he flicked on the living room light, the hallway remained in darkness. He hesitated, then reached for the wall switch. The overhead bulb buzzed awake with a weak yellow glow. Nothing was there. Still, the unfamiliar stillness felt wrong in a way he couldn't quite articulate, like the air had changed, like the apartment was alert. He checked the bathroom first. The door was half closed, just as he always left it. Inside, everything lay where it should. Toothbrush, towels, half-used soap. The mirror showed his tense expression, jaw set a little too tightly. He moved next to the closet. It stood partly open. That was odd. He always shut it, because the old sliding door tended to drift on its loose track. Now it was open wide enough for someone to stand inside. He swallowed. "Hello?" he said softly, though he didn't know why. Who was he expecting? Who could possibly be here? He slid the closet door the rest of the way. Coats, boxes, shoes. Nothing. But the faint smell of cold metal lingered, sharp and unfamiliar, like old coins or rusted tools. He felt a pressure behind his sternum, the kind that comes when the body identifies danger before the mind does. There was only one place left to check: the bedroom. He made his way down the hallway slowly. His legs felt tense, heavy. The bedroom door was open, but something about its angle felt different. He couldn't see his bed the way he normally could. The door had been moved further inward, blocking part of the view. He hadn't left it like that. He pushed it open with 2 fingers. Light from the hallway spilled in, and his room returned in pieces. The foot of the bed first, messy from where he'd kicked the blanket off. Then the far wall with a poster hanging slightly crooked. Then his desk with its scattered papers. Everything looked normal, but something felt wrong. An absence, a displacement. He scanned the room again. Then he saw it. A small object on the floor beside the nightstand. Something that absolutely was not there when he went to bed earlier. He crouched. It was a safety pin. Open. Its point glinting upward as if placed deliberately. A soft chill slid across his shoulders. Someone had been in the room. He felt the shift in the air before he fully straightened, a whisper of movement. But when he turned, nothing stood behind him. The hallway was still empty. He backed out slowly, closing the bedroom door but leaving it slightly ajar, a barrier more symbolic than useful. He went to the kitchen drawer and grabbed a flashlight, not because it was the most effective weapon, but because he needed something to tighten his grip on, something solid to make the isolation feel less absolute. He checked every door and window in the apartment, still locked from the inside, completely secure. It didn't make sense. The building was old, sure, but not porous. There were no crawl spaces, no attic hatches, no secret maintenance shafts leading into the walls. So how did anything, get in? Caleb stood in the center of the living room, listening again. The silence pressed in thickly. Minutes passed. 5, 10. He kept glancing toward the hallway, expecting to see a shadow shift at the far end or the bedroom door slide open on its own. But nothing happened. Eventually, his heartbeat steadied. His shame crept in the way it often did after fear, the self-conscious realization that he was standing alone in an empty apartment, holding a flashlight like a club. "Get it together," he muttered to himself. He picked up the safety pin again and examined it. Old, slightly bent, a bit of rust near the hinge. Not something he owned. Not something he had ever seen before. He tucked it into his pocket, intending to throw it out later. He forced himself to return to the couch, opened his laptop, and tried to resume the documentary. Tried. Because even when he pressed play, even when he stared at the screen, his brain remained fixed on the hallway. Every few seconds, his eyes flicked toward it. A moment passed. Then another. Then he heard it again. But not a tink, not the sharp metallic tap from before. This time, it was a soft click, slow and deliberate, like the release of a door latch. Caleb froze. The sound had come from the bedroom. He didn't move, didn't breathe. Then something creaked. Just once. The unexplainable groan of his old wooden bed frame under shifting weight. Someone was sitting on it. His skin went cold. He turned off the laptop, leaving the room in near darkness, save for the faint kitchen light. The flashlight trembled slightly in his hand. He took one step toward the hallway, then stopped, because a new sound joined the silence. A faint, rhythmic tapping against wood, slow at first, then quicker, like fingers drumming lightly on a nightstand. He whispered, "Who's there?" No response. The tapping stopped, abruptly. Caleb's pulse hammered. He forced his feet forward, one after the other, barely feeling the floorboards under him. At the hallway entrance, he paused again and leaned forward just enough to peer toward the bedroom door. It remained slightly ajar, the same angle he had left it. No movement, no shadow. He raised the flashlight. The moment its beam touched the bedroom frame, the tapping resumed. Not on the nightstand now, on the back of the door. the side facing him. He stepped backwards instinctively. Then the door moved. Only an inch. Then another. Then it stopped. Caleb felt his lungs stop working. His fingers tightened around the flashlight until the plastic creaked. For a moment, everything was perfectly still again. Then a voice from inside the room spoke. Not loud, not aggressive. Just wrong. A whisper that sounded close to a voice, but didn't carry the weight or breath a human voice should have. A thin,